This is the umarex notos monoblock, I guess you could call it. But anyway, there's a lot of talk about plenum volume. So this connects to your main tube and the regulators inside the main tube. And I don't know if we can get it, actually. Let me see if I can get the right angle. The problem with the plenum volume, no matter how big it is, added to this, is the size of the hole that transfers into the valve. And I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take this block off and show you and measure it. And this will be my first time measuring it also. There's a lot of spring pressure on this valve stem. I'm like shocked at how hard it's pushing. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, it's a pretty heavy duty spring. Well, anyway, now we can see it because light's passing through. See that tiny hole? That's the limitation of your plenum. When you talk about plenum, you're usually referring to the air that's directly available to the throat. The throat is underneath the poppet. But in this case, you could have 1,000 cc's out in front of this, but you're limited by that orifice right there as to what you can flow to the valve during a shot. So let me measure it real quick, if I can even get in there. It's under 3 millimeter, that's for sure. This is reading like 2.8. But it's tough to say whether or not you could open it up much. On this side, on the back end, it's offset to the bottom. And on this side, it's offset to the top. If you came in at an angle, you could probably open that to about 4 millimeter and make a huge difference in your comparison, you know, for plenum or drop block or whatever versus the stock configuration. But nobody's doing that for whatever reason. But that is your, you know, old school term restrictor plate right there in between the threaded section and the valve section. Let's have a look. Those I don't need right now. So this is your poppet. This is the poppet head that actually does the sealing, but the stem itself is still in there. If I can wiggle it, come on. There we go. So your poppet or valve stem assembly is extremely similar to a Diana chaser from what it looks like. This is exactly how a Diana chaser valve stem is assembled. And you can't do much as far as reducing the head diameter because your seating surface is just wider than this brass. But what you can certainly do is reduce the tension on this valve spring, and just as importantly, open up this port. I would, if I was going to do it, which I still might, I would do I would go to 4 millimeter, because when I look in here, the throat is definitely larger than 4 millimeter. Yeah, it's actually probably 5 or 6, but the transfer port looks pretty small. In any event, interesting food for thought for those of you that want to experiment. You know, if you have a drill press with a vise on it and you can secure the work, then a 4 millimeter pass through without any other modifications, especially, you know, if you had a plenum or drop block or whatever, without any other modifications, and a weaker valve spring should add some dwell and add some power. That's all I got.